What does it mean for the crisis going forward?
Yeah, well, I think it really underscores some of the complexity of the dispute that we're currently dealing with, Francine. I mean, watching the headlines come out on Friday about this phone call was pretty amazing, because you had the first one, which seemed to suggest that a progressive, possibly promising conversation had taken place between the two sides here, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And then less than an hour later, you had other headlines coming out full of recriminations from Saudi Arabia. Now, the particular emphasis of the fresh leg of the dispute seems to be who called who first, or whether the call was initiated by Donald Trump. Saudi Arabia suggesting that Qatar is presenting the call as something that Saudi wanted from them, or that was created at the behest of Donald Trump, and they say that's distorting the facts. Now, a lot of this might sound to you like it's just a minor detail or an issue of diplomatic protocol, but it speaks to some of the difficulties with resolving this dispute, which is that neither of the sides really wants to lose face here. Neither wants to be seen as making the first move when it comes to perhaps giving in a little bit in terms of its demands.
Yeah, Tracy, but so this basically underscores the depth of the crisis. Does it also mean that the resolution is pushed back significantly in terms of timeline?
Well, I'm not sure it means the resolution is pushed back in terms of timeline. You have to realize that at the beginning of the dispute, and we're now in the 100th day or so, it seemed like this was going to be something that went on for quite some time. What it does cast into doubt, potentially, is the role of the U.S. in this. We know that at some point last week, Donald Trump spoke to both the Qatari side and the Saudi Arabian side, and then we had this phone call. Now, the U.S. has said more than once that it really wants to be a mediator in this dispute, and at first glance it seems like it would have good leverage to do so, given it has strong ties with all the sides involved, lots of troops on the ground in places like Qatar, for instance. But this does suggest, you know, here's a phone call potentially that was or was not initiated by Donald Trump, and it ended in a fresh round of insults, essentially.